All right, welcome back, and this is our final lesson of the year. Okay, so today we're going to talk about composite figures. We've already learned several three-dimensional shapes. We've learned our prisms, our cylinders, our pyramids, our cones, and our spheres. Now, what if these are together? Okay, so if they are put together, what will we do? So, if we think about it, here we have two different prisms smacked together. Now, to find the volume, the volume is easier. You can find the volume of one, the volume of the other, and you will add it together to get your answer. To find the area, that is a little bit, or the surface area, that's a little more difficult because do you see how they overlap that spot where they touch each other? We cannot count that for either one. That's on the interior of the shape. We only care about the surface area on the outside of it, okay? Because that's on the surface. So let's first talk about the volume. So our volume of this small shape, or the shorter shape, we know it has a height of 3 and it's 8 by 5. Okay, so if we do 8 times 5, we will get 40. That's the area of our base. And we got to multiply that by 3. So 120 centimeters cubed. That is the volume of that. Meanwhile, our second one has a height of 6. And in 2 times 5 gives us 10. That 10 times 6 gives us 60 centimeters cubed. Okay, we add those up and we'll get 180. So 180 centimeters cubed. That's our answer for the volume. Now for the surface area, I think it's easy. I like to jot down as I go. So we have 3 times 8. That's going to be 24 right here. That wall. On the top, it's 8 by 5. So that'll be 40. And there's 2 of each of those. But meanwhile, on the end, over here on the left, it will be 3 times 5. That'll be 15. That'll be only on there one time. Okay, so there are only 5 surfaces for the left shape because one of them is combined here. So if we have 24 times 2, that's 48, plus 40 times 2 is 80, plus that 15. Okay, if we add all those up, that'll be this side of it. Now for this side, 2 times 6 tells us that one, and there are 2 of those. So times 2 is 24. Across the top is 5 by 2, that'd be 10. We have 2 of those, the top and the bottom, so that's plus 20. Now the back here gets a little more complicated. We have 5 times 6. This side is 30. Meanwhile, the other side, it's only half of it. Do you see how this part is 3? So we know there's 3 more. 3 times 5, that is 15 we can add on. Okay, so now we're going to add all these up. It starts to get a little messy. But if we add 48 plus 80, 128, plus 15 gives us 143, plus a 24. So that's 167, then 187, then 217, and finally 232 if we add them all up. So that was a lot more advanced than finding your surface area normally. Just figure out each part and kind of piece it together. So our second one here. Find the volume and surface area just like we just did, except here we have a cylinder that's cut in half and laid on top of a prism. So once again, volume is easy. We can just find the volume of each of these and add them together. Now the prism will be really easy. 9 times 11 gives us 99, and the height of 6, so 99 times 6 gives us 594. For your cylinder, you're going to find the volume of it and then just divide it by 2 because we only have half of it. Okay, so a cylinder right here, pi r squared times the height. So pi r squared times the height. Now our r, we don't know, but right here, 9 is the distance across, so that would be your diameter. So your r, half of that, 4.5. So pi times 4.5 squared times your height, which in this case height is distance between base, so that's 11. And keep in mind we only want half of this. So this whole amount we're going to times by 1/2. Okay, so if I were you, I'd go to Desmos. Don't try to do that in your head. That's not possible. I mean, maybe a few of you could do it, but not with any precision. Okay, so pi times 4.5 raised to the second times 11. And we hit enter, and over here you can see we get 349.89. So if we add that with our other one, 594, and we will get 943.89 millimeters cubed. All right, now once again, let's find surface area. So think about each section. We're going to need to find the surface area of the cylinder and then divide it by 2 again. Okay, so we can do 2 times pi times r squared plus 2 times pi times r times the height. All of this times 1/2. Oops, wrong one. So 1/2 times 2 pi times r squared plus 2 pi times r times 11. And we get, let's see, 219.126, so 0.13. Now we also need to figure out for the prism. So 9 by 11 on the bottom is 99. On this side, there's 2 of them, 66. This side, 9 times 6, 54. There's 2 of those. So if we multiply, so 99 is all there is for the bottom and top, because the top, you can see here, is overlapped by the cylinder. Now the front and the back, 54 each, so that's 108. 66 on each side, so that'd be, let's see, 132. We add all this up, and we should get 339. So we add that with the 219.13, and we'll get 558.13 millimeters squared. All right, we're just about done. We're going to do one more, and this final one, once again, volume. It's pretty easy. Just find the volume of the cone, then find the volume of your cylinder. Now take a look here. If we know we have this height of 3, the radius has to be 2 because the diameter of it is 4. Okay. Meanwhile, if the height of the entire thing is 10 and this height is 3, we know that this part that's left is 7. Okay, so now let's find the height of our cylinder. So just pi r squared times that height, which is 7. And whatever we get, we will add to height of our cone, or volume of our cone, which is 1/3 times pi r squared times 3, because that's our height. So if we do this, I'm going to save us some time, but we type that in the calculator, we'll get 87.96. Meanwhile, for this one, we'll get 12.57. We'll add those two together, and we'll get 100.53. Okay, almost done. Now to find surface area. For the cylinder, we can take the outside, so it's kind of messy. We still care about this 2 pi RH because that's the circumference times the height. That's the lateral surface area. We care about that. But it's not 2 pi r squared. Do you see there's an overlapping section here? One of the bases does not get counted because it's covered up. So we only care about 1 pi r squared. So we can do pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And in this case, our R is 2. And our height of the cylinder is 7. Oops. So pi times 2 squared. So it's not going to be 2 pi. So pi times 2 squared plus 2 pi times 2 times 7. And as you can see, we get 100.53. So that takes care of your cylinder. Now you also need the surface area of your cone. But keep in mind, the cone, we don't need the bottom part. So we only need, for the surface area of the cone, we don't need the pi r squared. We just need pi times r times L. Now we already know what r is. So pi times r times L. We know that'll be pi times 2 times whatever the slant height is. So if I'm going to find the slant height, just think about it as a right triangle. We know this is a 2, this is a 3. We need to find what x is. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 4 plus 9 equals x squared. So we'll combine those, get 13. We got to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 13, which if we find 3.61, okay? So 3.61 is what we will get. That is what will go in right here. 2 times pi times 3.61. When we do that, we'll get 22.68. All we have to do is add that to the original 100.53 we found, and our final answer, 123.21 centimeters squared. And we are done. So if you have any questions, I know this last lesson was a little bit more challenging. It is a little tedious. There's 3 of these to do. Tomorrow will be a review day, then our test at the end of the week. So finish the year strong, get everything turned in. If you need any help, please reach out. Don't wait. We're on a time to wait. You got to reach out now. Hope you guys have a great day. See you soon.